Alright, hi, welcome to day 2 of my 365-day art challenge thingamajiggy. So, today we are going to do spheres. We are going to try a whole bunch of different ways of rendering and shading and all that stuff. And so, yeah, I don't know what else to say. So, yeah, we're just going to test it out. I'm mainly going to use my traditional line art color of purple because I like purple, so why not have purple? Oops, that is the wrong key. Wrong key, which makes it wonky. Okay, there we go. So, a sphere. Let us make it white. Let's make it white because why not? Oops, wrong thing. Okay. I swear I know what I'm doing. I swear I know what I'm doing. Mainly. Partially. So generally, there we go. And okay, let's get started with this. Let's start with something. Should we start with something that I'm familiar with? So, sorry. So generally, I think the reason why people actually use spheres to learn how to shade and all that stuff and all the technical terms is because of the fact that spheres, unlike squares, aren't they're smooth, right? Which means that you have to learn how to blend things a lot better. Even though I just do like blocky styles of shading, I just do like, yeah. So usually if you see like a square, because of how angular it is, you have something that's a lot like more, yeah, something that's a lot more like angular. You have like solid blocks of color instead, right, of shading. Whereas with spheres, you need to learn about like how it blends together, right? How it goes from like lighter to darker and all that stuff. So I'll start with something that's a bit more familiar. I'll do cross hatching. Which I know I said I wasn't gonna do cross hatching because I was like, oh, my wrist hurts, but then I'm like, fine, I'll do cross hatching. What happened? Oh, right, because merde. There we go. There we go. Okay. Okay, so a sphere should. So traditionally, when we render spheres, our light source is from the top right over here. And yeah, that's usually how it goes because yeah. So because the light source is from the top right, we would have something, and this is just like, this is not traditionally like this. We would have the light source. I'm just writing down notes. So we would have the light source somewhere like here, right? We see the light source somewhere here, and then here it's gonna go from lighter, right, to then darker over here, right? And yeah, that's how traditionally it would work. And then obviously lighter here as well, right? So that's usually how it works. So I'm going to need to take that into account for cross-hatching, which will be slightly more difficult. I don't know I'm starting with cross-hatching, honestly. It's not like I do cross-hatching for all of my things anyways. Actually, you know what? No, I'll start with this. It's fine. So cross-hatching is going to be kind of hard because we need to give it the illusion of having actually like blocky stuff, right? So it's going to be slightly more like this, I assume. And you're going to see me twist the canvas quite a bit because I don't know what else to do with this. Okay. And obviously, I am not going to be good at this at all. That's the point of this, right? The point of this is so I can draw consistently and then get good at some point, right? At some point. So we have the general shape down slightly. There we go. No, so this is slightly off, a bit more. It doesn't matter if not all of them are level because cross-hatching, we will eventually sort of fix it. I'm using just the real G Pen. It's just a default brush from Clip Studio Paint because I'm too lazy to learn like custom brushes and all that stuff. So I'm like, yeah, you know what? This will work. This will have to do. It will have to do because I'm too lazy. You know what? Sure. So this should be a bit more straight, and then it curves around. So like that, right? Obviously this is not great cross-hatching. Traditionally cross-hatching would be a lot straighter, but alas. There it goes. So I'll do about this much for the light shading, right? Just like a couple of dots here and there, right? So this area should have the least amount of lines just because there's less shadow. And then we have something that's, and then we're going to need to draw shorter lines along the way just to really make it a bit more condensed. So shorter lines over here. And that's how we give it the illusion of sort of color, of shading, right? Is because these shorter lines eventually just converge together, right? There's more density, right, of lines as it goes down. So that's how we would do this. And it's fine the lines overlap. I know traditionally people would not have the lines overlap, but I'm like, yeah, well, that's how it is, right? So yeah. And once I get to the other spheres, then that's when I'm going to be like, okay, I'm going to need to write more notes down, because that's when it starts getting a bit more technical. So yeah. And there we go. There we go. And then we could draw even shorter lines. Here, here. The thing about cross-hatching is that if you screw up and you have to like Control Z, it actually becomes sort of a pain because it's kind of a, there's so many, because each stroke counts as like an action, so you're gonna have a lot of things to go Control Z over, unfortunately, right? I don't cross hatch as much as I do before because of, again, it just hurts my wrist. So I'm like, yeah, I'm fine with not having that much stuff with cross hatching, right? So over here, what you see, right, what I'm doing right now, that's the midtone. This over here, the white area is the highlight, and the area that's like shifting from the shadows to the shifting from the highlight to the deep shadow is called the midtone. So that is all the technical terms. Wow. Which you don't need to learn, like, honestly. For half of my life I didn't even bother learning. I was just like, yeah, you know what, shadow is cool, darker, gradients. But obviously I'm just learning it now because I need to. Well, I don't need to, but I digress. Right here, over here. I know my cross hatching is slightly lazy, but whatever. Look, this is an exercise. We're not trying to draw the masterful sphere, you know. There we go. I'm gonna add a bit more stuff to it just because the emptiness sort of bothers me. There we go. There we go. There we go. Sick. Hup. And it's fine if it over spills a bit, like so. There we go. I just needed to have that sort of shape, you know, that spherical shape of a light source. A light source is traditionally circular because sun, I guess. I don't know, I'm just spouting, but I imagine it's circular because why would a light source be rectangular unless it's through a window, right? But what do I know? What do I know? So we have the general shape of the thingy down. Might be missing a bit here. There we go. There we go. Okay, it's a bit furry. We can fix that a bit. Here. Add a couple more lines here. And then if this doesn't look as good as it does, like so. Over here. That's when we start adding. That's when we do the cross hatching. So right now we're just hatching. But once you actually want to add a bit more, that's when you do things from the opposite direction, right? That's when you start hatching, which is this. Not so much that, but you get my point. It's just this. Because this is the darker area, right? So you want... Actually, no. It should be a bit more circular. So there should be a bit of a curve to it. So here. Here. Right. There we go. Technically, I'm going to erase some stuff after. Because I'll explain it as I go on after. But why I would erase stuff. But there's a reason why I would plan to erase stuff after. So yeah. Oops. Pourquoi t'as fait ça? There we go. Very stylized right now. That's fine. That is fine. That is fine. Look, it doesn't look the best right now, I agree, but a bit of work goes a long way. There we go. And a bit more of a curve here. There we go. And here we have a much darker tone in comparison to the rest, like so. There we go. Why did I start with the most time-consuming one? I'm a moron. There we go. Right here, and then it slowly fades into nothingness because it needs to fade into nothingness. Because that's where the midtones are. Right? Maybe a few stylized ones here. Not that they're really necessary, or not that they're good, but whatever. There we go. There we go. Okay. Curve it up a bit. All these are their own individual lines, right? Here. I'm gonna darken the sides a bit by just drawing lines like so. Here. There we go. And then we could do this. I know my technique is probably not proper, but I digress. I digress. Right. Like so. There we go. And then we would have something that would be called the reflected light after that. So after we're done having rendered all this over here, so after we're done having this, we're gonna have to erase a bit of it. I'm just gonna do like a chunk here, which isn't great because I do want to have like a bit more over there. It's just like a sliver here. Actually, what I'll do a soft eraser here. This doesn't look great because it's not in the same like style, but whatever. There we go. So the reason why you would actually have something like this, right, something that's called the reflected light, is because light bounces around. So what happens is that bounces on the surface surrounding the sphere and then hits back the sphere, I believe. That should be it, right? Yeah. So it hits back the sphere, I think, from what I remember as to why light does that. So that's called reflected highlight or reflected light. I just call it the reflection. So people call it like whatever, right? And then you would have the cast shadow. The cast shadow, which is the easiest thing. The cast shadow is just some weird thingy that's like more or less like an oval, like so. So usually it just goes from like here, right? It's sort of elongated as well because the fact that light sort of just stretches it quite a bit. So it sort of goes like this, right? No, it's too much. There we go. I'm just doing a couple general lines right now. Sort of like this, right? No, yeah, you're a bit too far back. See, this is the pain of cross hatching. You can't erase it without looking weird, so you have to do it right, which is fine. Like, I don't blame it for being like that. This needs to curve a bit, like so. This needs to round out a bit, so I'm gonna need to make the center part a bit more elongated, like so, and then this rounds out a touch. So this goes here, up, like so, here, there we go, like so. This should be a bit higher on the scale over here. There we go. There we go, and over here. Okay, there we go. But obviously, the shadow should be darker over here, so we might add a couple of shorter lines over here. Over here. There we go. This should be a bit rounder, but I digress. I'm making all this with lines, so sue me, I suppose. There we go. There we go. So this is quite dark already, but I do want to add a couple more near the end, just so then it looks a bit darker, like so. And there we go. Yeah. I mean, it's a sphere. It's a sphere. I know it's not perfect, but we do have to move on to different spheres. Sure, let's do this one. Whoops, this one. I'll keep doing purple spheres because that's what I prefer with line art. So I'll try something that's block here this time. So again, we would have, oops. So since we're doing something that's block here, I want something that's a bit more, qu'est-ce que c'est fait? Oh, because it's hidden, of course. I'm done. So we have the light source here, right? This would be our light source. It would then be reflected on the sphere in the form of a sphere, right? Here, this area would be lighter, and then we have something that's slightly darker, and then the darkest, and then you would have the reflected light layer over at the border over here because of the environment light that bounces back. It's the same reason why there's like sometimes there's in cinema there's things like spill light, right? When you use a green screen, because of the reflection of the green, it tends to spill over to the characters, to objects, and so sometimes there might be like a green sort of lighting on some people if the VFX artists didn't do their job properly. So that's called a spill light, but it's also the reflected light of something, because the surface of things just bounces back the color of things, right? So that's what happens here, right? The environment interacts with the object as the light interacts with the object and the environment. And you would have the light source, which just turns into like a blob for the cast shadow over here. Okay, so we're gonna do something that's a bit more sure. Right, so we're gonna do something that's a bit more blocky is what I said. So we're going to go with our traditional thing. So because we want something that's a bit more blocky, we'll use something that's actually, what? I never really shade with black all that much, even though I know I should, but no, I shouldn't. No one shades with black, now I think about it. Black is not something that you would traditionally do. Okay, let's do this. Okay. I'm gonna clip it this layer, even though I know I shouldn't. There should be like, I know we should blend these, but I'm also too lazy to blend these. Let's be honest here. Actually, what? I'll start with the actual white layer here. And yes, I am using a gray because again, it's really rare that you see actually black and white in things unless that's the style you're aiming for. And again, this is going to be a touch more blocky. Actually, what I'll do with a marker because I'm too lazy. Right, so this should be a bit more higher up, like so. Just a bit, right? And again, it doesn't have to be precise. It just has to look right. Horrible advice, but I digress. There we go. Again, you should not be shading with white, or you should not be rendering with all white, but I digress. And then we need something that's along the lines of qu'est-ce que t'as fait? Alright, I used gray. I used the gray. That's bad. Okay, there we go. We want something that's a bit more. Right, so we want this to be sort of gradual-ish here. That's fine. Here, that's fine. Yeah, sure. So we want this to be sort of ingredients, right? Sort of like this. And again, I'm doing this relatively fast because I do want to move on to some more interesting things. Even though I know I chose to do this myself, but I digress. A bit darker over here. There we go. Let's do something darker like this. And do our last layer should be a bit darker like so. Even though it should be, realistically, it should be a bit more like this. Right. It should be a bit more like this, right? But whatever. Okay. should be a bit something more like this. Right, so it should be a bit more curved in. Over here. Right. Like from distance you can see it, right? It's still blocky. At this stage you would traditionally just like blend everything together with like the blur tool, but I'm like, ugh, yikes, gross. Right, you would just blend everything together, but I'm not about that life, so we'll assume that this is perfectly normal, right? I'm not gonna blur it just because that's also not quite my style. Is anything ever my style? No, it's not. I'm just lazy. And we have our reflected light over here. Our reflected light is over here. Over here. Okay. Nope. Well, it should be a bit wider, right? It should be like, there should be like a slight bit of reflected light over here and over here. Yeah, it should be, yeah. So over here, and then I'll just use the same, I'll use a darker black over here. Yeah, actually, no, I'll use this one over here. Oh, whoops, cast shadow should be here. Should be here. Here. Over here. Okay, good. And then we have something that's like, something that's a bit more like this. And then here. No, here. Over here. 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 Okay, let's try this. Oops. Pourquoi tu fais ça? Qu'est-ce que tu fais, mon gars? How about now? Ah ben là. Ben tu marchais beaucoup. Tu marchais avant. Pourquoi maintenant? Okay, how about now? Oh, balls, why are you like this? Okay, well, I'm just gonna color it in. Too lazy for this. I keep saying I'm lazy, which I am, but I digress. There we go. So we have that, and then we have the darkest color, which should be closer to the center over here. Here. Yeah, it looks like it's leaving a little slime trail. There we go. That's nice. That's cute, right? That's cute, guys, right? Right? You have 2 spheres. Yay. Okay. Next up. Oops, I hit my mic. Next up, I do want to try something that's a bit more interesting, so I'll do something that is called the color layer. And then we're gonna put a black layer on top of it. So right now there's all black, and then you change it to a thing known as value, color. And then you have this. So the thing that I want to do is that I sort of want to test out different values. So we're just gonna go for, cause someone like tried to convince, like someone once tried to convince me that values were more like important than like, they're like, it's more important than anything. So I'm like, okay, bet. So I'm gonna try and do things with different values here. Oops, that is the wrong thing. Okay, let's try this. Okay, yeah, it's pretty similar to the things that I was gonna do before. And then let's have something that's a bit more here. And we're gonna check if it's actually good. I wonder if it works for the sphere, because it works because the other person did it because of the fact that it sort of just looked good. Actually, you know what? Because of the fact that it was like with characters and it made for like a really interesting thing. But I wonder if it'll work with this. I'll try with I'll do with the airbrush, just so then it makes a bit more sense. I'll randomly select like a color at some point, right? Here, sure. So we want a darker color over here, right? This is not dark at all. This is not dark enough. We'll do something like this, yeah. Okay, yeah. Okay, let's try this. Right, so we're gonna have a darker outer layer like so. Right, guys, right. There we go. So right now we are having our sphere, right? And then we have to look over there. Okay, that's not great. That looks like a pretty bad color, but I digress. Okay, we're just gonna airbrush a bit more. There we go. So here, you already see that's, no, it's a bit too light, so I want something that's a bit darker. Something like this, right? Yeah, like that. Like that, right? Right. I probably need like an in-between value somewhere over there, right? Oop. Let's do something like this. There we go. Something like that. Here, I'll go back to the previous color just to bridge the gaps in between. Yeah, this is definitely too dark, so I definitely need something that's sort of in between as well. That's not the color that I want. Okay, yeah, I'm just sweeping it around just to make sure that I get something that's a bit more random. So how about this, right? So how about something like this? Yeah, can't be that bad, right? Alright, guys, right? It's gonna end up so horrible. Here's something that's darker, right? Because we want, actually, no, yeah, something that's, no, we don't want something that's darker. We want something that's lighter, because we're gonna do the cast shadow now. Oh, no, that's not good. If it's darker than the background, if it's lighter than the background, we don't want that. Okay, yeah, that should be fine. We want something that's like this, right? Here, like that. So that sort of fades away. Here, okay, a bit darker, like so. This should be fine. Right, guys, right? Like so. I just hope that, nope, that's too dark now. Okay. Huh? Do we need one more? Okay, nope. Let me go back. There we go. Something that's a bit lighter, like so, right? Okay, well, that's too light, come on. Oh, whoops. Too much. I don't know how much. Okay, I'll undo until this point. Okay, how about this? There we go. There we go. Here. Oh, sure. They're all blue tones, but whatever. Okay, that's even lighter. Jeez. How about this? Nope. Same value, apparently. Okay. Slightly darker then. There we go. And then one last one. Okay, green, really? 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 Nope, that's too light. A lot of greens I'm getting. And like an actual randomizer here. Okay, there we go. And for the base one over here, I'll slightly erase some of them with the softer eraser over here. I'm curious. I'm really curious how this is going to turn out. It's going to be horrible. It probably is going to be horrible. Like, oh god. Oh, because it's the rendering layer, right? Oh, whoops. There we go. Okay, rendering here. There we go. Okay, let's see what the result is without the value checker. I'm really curious. Oh my god. That's fascinating. That's interesting. Wow. Holy crap. Okay, that's wow. I definitely did not expect that sort of thing. Huh. Huh. Interesting. Very interesting. Wow. It's certainly a choice. Okay, one last thing. We're gonna do a nice sphere. And we're gonna make it, actually no, it's too much that side. We're gonna try a more painterly style of thing. There we go. Base color is here. Rendering, okay. Because I've always admired people like Dino and all those people. Why do they say all those people? Like, why am I stupid? So we're gonna try and do something similar to that sort of thing. Because their painterly style is really cool. Like, it has so much texture, so much fun in this. And so much, like, it gives so much life to things. It's so cool. Right, you have so much texture, and the texture adds so much to whatever, right? Okay. There we go. Here. A bit more right here. There we go. And we need something that's a bit lighter, like so. Just to bridge the gap in between of the deep shadow and the midtones, right? There we go. There we go. Something even a bit lighter, even though they all kind of look the same, but I digress. Right? Something like that. I need to work on my blending. How do they do this? This is so... I mean, I get what they're going for, but holy crap. How do they do such things? Who are these people? Why are they such art gods? Holy crap. The painter's style is so cool. Like, just the amount of textures and all that stuff makes it so nice to look at. There we go. I'm gonna add a bit more darkness to this. Yeah, something a bit darker over here, right? Over here, like so. Right, just something that gives the sphere that much more life. Oh, it actually looks pretty good. So the painter style, I think, is really interesting because it from afar it looks really good, but then you zoom in, you see all these textures, all these flaws, and somehow, to me, that's a lot more like beautiful to me. All these flaws, which from a distance look so good, but then you get like, yeah, just the idea of making intentionally flawed things, and it's just so good. There we go. Something like this. There we go. Look at those textures over there. Beautiful. Yum, yum, yum. Heh, texture. Sorry, I really like textures in case you didn't notice. But yes. Oops, that's the same color as that, which isn't great. So this should be a bit more round. There we go. These should all generally follow the same sort of thing, right? Same sort of stroke motion, right? Over here. There we go. Why did you do that? There we go. There we go. There we go. Oops. It's shooting a bit across, but that's fine. Alright, there we go. Oh, look at that. Ooh. That's fun. That's really fun. I actually really like this style. I might... Do I want to be ambitious? Because I know some people, I know the painter style might... I do like textures quite a bit. Do I mix both these two together at some point? That seems really fun. That seems really fun. This has been a really fun thing to do, honestly. This has been really, really like a blast for sure. But yeah. Alright, these are my these are my 4 spheres. I don't know why I said 450p for almost that, for sphere 4s or something like that. I can't English apparently. But yeah, these are my 4 rendered spheres. That's fun. This was a fun experiment. I actually got a lot of fun out of this. I got a lot of mileage out of this, genuinely. But yeah, this was great. Like, I think I actually learned quite a bit. But yeah, I think that about wraps up for me today. This was day 2 of my 365 art challenge. Also, I do have to note that I don't think I'm gonna be able to maybe post a video every day, mainly because of different like scheduling things. Maybe I'm out of town that day, I don't have my setup, but I will draw every day, and I'll post something on Twitter or something like that. I'm not calling it X. I'm never gonna call it X, but maybe I'll post something on Twitter just to be like, yeah, I drew that day, I swear. But yeah, I think that about wraps up for me today. Thanks for hanging out with me. Yeah, I think, have a good morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on when and where you are. But yeah, see you guys next time. Bye bye. See you, and take care. See you.